up, guys? Welcome to this week's video. We are on our way to pull apart, junkyard, whatever you want to call it. We've ran into one little issue with termite, and I never did wire up a brake switch. There's provision for it in the harness, but I just never wired it up because I had the original one on the pedal, and I thought the only thing the brake switch would really be used for is cruise control, which we do plan on putting on. And I was like, well, whenever we get to the cruise, then I'll wire the brake switch in. But whenever you're doing highway speed above 55 for a little while, you lose gas pedal. The gas pedal just quits working. The engine's still running and everything's still good, you have no gas pedal. So that is a safety feature from what I can understand, that the ECM, once it does not detect the ground wires on whatever it is on the brake switch, kills your throttle pedal. I mean, all you gotta do is pull over, shut it off, crank it back up, and it works again. But I'm gonna be wiring in a brake switch sooner than later. So I'm on my way to a salvage yard to get a brake switch, the plug for the switch, and the tab. And we're gonna get those wired in this weekend, and that should cure that problem. So like I said, you can be doing 65, 70 and everything's fine, and then it's just like you just let off the gas. So that's gonna fix that. Also, we're gonna do that in this video, and we're also gonna get the transfer case shifter put in. And we're gonna clean some wiring up inside termite under the dash, kind of start moving our way across there, and getting ready to put some AC in that thing. So anyway, I'll check back with you guys once I get to the salvage yard. Maybe I just have to see what it's like when I get there. I've never been to this one, but they've got a lot of wrecked Dodge trucks. So anyway, I'll check back with you guys here in just a minute. All right, so we're in the junkyard laying some glass. That little white box and that bracket right there is what I got to get out. So I'm gonna waller in all this right here and get it cleaned up. Also, look, this truck has tow hooks, so I think I'm gonna grab them for my truck. So junkyards are fun, man. You can spend hours out here just digging around looking, but I'm gonna pull this out and be on my way before it gets to 1,000 degrees. All right, we got everything we need. We got some tow hooks and a lower valance that I've always needed for my truck. And there's our brake switch. And the tab, I just cut it off. We'll have to weld it onto the one there already, but that little pigtail and that switch is what we need. All right, we got a long walk back to the front and it's hot. All right, I got the seat out. Got the old shifter out. It's 3 bolts. And just the randomness of our kids. We got Uno cards. And then we have bones. Don't know why our kids have bones in the back seat, but apparently on one of our camping trips they found bones. There was pine cones, there's rocks, so we're finding random stuff, and these seats ain't been in here that long. So anyway, all right, we got the shifter out. We've got our brake switch here and the little bracket that I've got to mount. I got to weld it in or something under there. Get that wired in, and then we can start fitting where our transfer case shifter rod is going to be, somewhere up in this area, I'm thinking. But it's so hot right now, I think I'm going inside. It's 100 degrees. 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's hotter in the shop than it is outside.
Well, look at what's on your thermometer.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he can have it. I don't want it. So it's 100 degrees outside, and my thermometer says how hot in the shop?
110.
110. That's hot enough. Hot enough for me to go inside for a little while. All right, so we're trying to mount the brake switch here. So I had to make a little bracket that you can see there sticking out with one with the hole in it. The hole's unnecessary, but I'm welding that to my brake pedal to extend a little tab off the side. And that way, I'll show you in a second, I can weld this in here just like this, and this will hit what's remaining of the brake switch from the Wagoneer, and it will just hold it just right, plungers just right depth. And I just took my vice grips in there that you can see there, and just kind of moved it, got it where I needed it. And so right now I'm just kind of doing a little bit, letting it cool, doing a little bit, letting it cool. And that should suffice enough for me to put the tab in there next, weld the tab in, and then we can mount the switch. I've already got the switch wired in, so that's all done. And I just got wet old jean material around all my wires just to keep it wet. And yes, the battery is unhooked. We got way too many electronics on this thing now, between the Dakota Digital box, the ECM, all this kind of stuff. I don't want to take the chance of frying nothing, so I just unhooked the battery. And so I'm gonna put a little more weld on this, and then we'll fit our tab and get the tab welded on, and I will check back with you when that's done. All right, guys, if you look up in the midst of all of that rat nest wiring, we got our switch in there. It's mounted, welded up. I just tested the brakes. It's got a good position. So right about, you got your slack, and right about there's where the light comes on out of that slack. So that's perfect. Now I'm gonna kind of try to clean some of this up, just get some zip ties and just straighten the wiring up. I got to plug a few things back in that I had unplugged to pull everything out of the way. And my phone is telling me this solely because of the heat. All right, termite is in the air. Freaked out whenever I pulled it right here, thinking it was gonna sit here for another 3 months, but I assured it wasn't. So we've got our transfer case shifter kit here. This is from Novak. Pretty cool little deal for these transfer cases. So basically it just bolts to your housing where your transfer case mounts to your transmission. You've got your lever down here, shifter handle here. They give you a big old long handle, and you got your rod and new lever there. So gonna be kind of fooling with getting all that in, and then they send you a bendable, like bends and holds it shape deal for you to be able to know how to, if you have to heat up your shifter rod to fit through the thing. So pretty cool kit, about 150 bucks, somewhere around in there if I remember right. But pretty neat type deal. And then I have an old wooden shift knob that I turned a long time ago whenever I made Termite's shift knob. I just turned a bunch of them, and this was one that I had left over, and I think I'm gonna try to make it fit onto the knob to match Termite's, and we'll clean it up and finish it, and I will stamp the shift pattern. And y'all forgive me how the way I look. I know my hair is probably nasty and all over the place and sweat, but it's just the way it is. So I'll probably just stamp the shift pattern in there, too high all the way up. And I've got dies and stuff to do that. And so probably just do that way to match the shifter handle and all that good stuff. So I've got the original lever out here, and so we're going to disregard that, and that one will go on, and we'll start fitting up our bracket and kind of getting an idea of where our hole in the floor is going to be. And it is just not a lot of room over here, as you can tell. It is quite crowded, but we'll this would have been a lot easier before drive shafts and exhaust and fuel lines. This would have been one of those things that if you're going to do this as soon as you put the transfer case in. Go ahead and do this before you get it all filled up. I just highly overestimated how much room I was going to have. So, but anyway, we'll get it. It's just going to take a little time. All right, guys, we got the drive shaft out over there, and I believe what I'm going to have to do, the adapter from the transmission, you can see I got one bolt off right there. Bit of focus. I'm sorry, guys, this is hard to do. You can see that bolt right there. I got the nut off of that one, but then right behind that fin right there is the other bolt right there. So I can get a wrench on it, but I don't think that this bracket's gonna pass through and hit that. So that fin's gonna have to be cleared a little bit of grind in there. Well, you can see the limited amount of room I got up in there. So, but you see the cover up there. You see the screws for the cover to where if you had a 4-speed or standard in this thing, that cover is removable. So I think I'm gonna pull the cover. I'll break the seam sealer on the inside, but I don't care. If I take that cover off, that bolt is right there, plus I can clearance that fin. I can fit all that a lot easier. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna set termite back down and pull that cover and get that portion done from the top. It'll also probably make fitting all of this a lot easier. Will you grab me 3/8?
It's 110 in here, by the way.
But short. Oh, I know.
You look like you just He-manned it. Like you're just.
I was gonna cut the sleeves off of it anyway. So
It's ripping down the side, baby. It's like the whole back of it's open.
Bulking. It's bulking season. All right, cover is off. That bow right there and that fin right there is what we got to clearance. So it's going to be a whole lot easier to do from up here than from down there. We did have some pretty nasty rust right here, right up under all this. So we'll get all that treated and cleaned up. But okay, guys, it's been a few days and we've got the mechanism hooked up underneath, and I have just been kind of playing with shifter placement. So I've got my slot cut, and I'm just kind of mocking up the shifter rod. Now obviously it ain't gonna be that tall. We're not driving Peterbilts for nothing, but it'll probably be, I would imagine, right in here somewhere. And the seat is also all the way forward. Not all the way, but way far forward, more forward than what we usually have it. I had to do that the other day to get to the back bolts, but that, you know, in other words, if it'll clear here, then I know it will clear whenever it's back to where it normally is. But so that's for low there. That's as far back as it's gonna go. And I'm not gonna put it in too high because I gotta climb under there and do it all by hand, and it's a pain in the butt. But too high, it sets about right here. Clearance is good. And so, you know, we got good, easy travel, no interference. But that kit's pretty universal. I mean, you got a lot of wiggle room to do with it. So I think it will work. I can't shift it by hand with it all hooked up because I don't have any. I just can't get leverage on anything. It's just so compact. So, but it does. I can feel it like it from what little bit I can. I think it will shift fine, shift smooth, because nothing was in a bind. We didn't have to like force anything to fit or nothing. So anyway, I'm gonna get our shifter rod over here and compare it, and just kind of take and heat this and bend it to that shape of that rod. And I don't have a torch at the moment, and so probably have to run down to my brother's, to his farm, and he's got a torch, I believe, and a vise, and I could just get out there in his shop and heat this thing up and just bend it to what I need, and then we'll come back and fit it and all that kind of good stuff. But
what you doing?
Wearing my shoulders out.
Ready for action.
Yeah.
Like your little, like your stance there.
The drive shaft stance. All right, y'all. Well, it's been a week later, but I don't know if you can see it up in there real well, but we have shifter. I know that's not a great picture, but it's in there and it works. Andrew was in the cab and she went through from 2 high all the way to 4 low, and it went in all up nice and smooth. So we're good. At the moment, I have lost the clip that holds the speedometer wire into the adapter. You don't have to have it. I mean, it's plugged in, but the clip is there as a safety to keep it. And I unplugged it a week ago, a little over a week ago. And forgot where I put it. So we're hoping maybe it's inside. So we're gonna let termite down and show you the shifter and how all that turned out and what we did all there. I've got the cover back on, and just gonna show you guys the shifter from the top side. I was trying to find a little piece of rubber that I could put in here with like a slit in it to just kind of help seal that off, but I don't have anything. Looking for like an inner tube or something, but I don't have nothing. So I am gonna put, once the carpet's back on, I am gonna put a little shifter boot over that, so it'll be sealed off. But so anyway, the shifter, I'm just gonna leave it raw like this. You can see kind of still the heat marks. I love stuff like that. I think that looks cool. I did clear coat it, so it's not gonna rust or anything like that. Cover removed, I could see my back O2 sensor over here, and I knew I could hear a little exhaust leak around it, and so I crunk it up with the cover off and put my hand down there, and sure enough I could feel exhaust blowing out. So I got that welded up and sealed off, so that's good to go. Got the cover, like I said, back on, and now I'm going to fold the carpet back over and get our, also made this little patch for the old shifter knob and put a piece of like sealing foam behind it just to kind of help seal that off. All right, guys, I know y'all can't tell it, but I'm in 4 low right now, but I can tell it. You can tell it is, oh man, it's torquey. So that's 4 low. Let's see. That's neutral. That should be 4 high. Yeah, I can feel it in the steering wheel. And then 2 high. So we're good, man. So all of our transfer case stuff works. I just got back from test driving on the highway and run it up to 70 for about a mile, never shut off. So the brake switch fixed our throttle. The reason I couldn't film is because apparently the shifter underneath is the brackets. I'm gonna have to get up here and look and see somewhere it is lightly rubbing the drive shaft, and so it was a little clicking going on under there, so I had to keep my hand on the shifter to kind of keep it pushed away. I'm just trying not to run over the super beat or the lift arms right now, to keep it kind of pushed away so that it didn't hit. And so I couldn't film and drive and do that at the same time, but it's just still so crazy how fast it runs up to 70, and like it's just there, like there's just no issue at all. It just does it so well. So successful test drive there. So I'm gonna slide underneath and see where we are hitting. I think I have an idea, and so what we're gonna have to do to fix it. All right, so you can see that bolt right there. I flipped it. There's a smooth Allen head on the other side, and I flipped them to give me a little more room against the transfer case. Didn't really need it, but I did it just to be safe, but I didn't even think about the drive shaft. So I think it's just barely, judging by the marks, it's barely nicking that bolt. So I think I'm gonna have to flip those back around. And I think if I do that, that'll be fine. So that's what was hitting. So no big deal. I didn't think it was a big deal because it was like barely hitting. But that's an easy fix. But anyway, so guys, I guess that's gonna be our video. We've got the brake switches in. It did not shut off, run 70 for like well over a mile, was fine. And 4-wheel drive, 4 low, 4 high, 2 high, all that works. So transfer case is working. We just gotta flip that bolt around where it's not hitting the drive shaft, and we're golden there. So up next, AC.
Yay! AC!
Angel swears she can't drive unless it's got air conditioner. She is that high maintenance.
And I mean, I'm not really even that high. But
okay,
but explain that our temps have been over 100 for 3, 4 weeks.
Which anybody in the South, I think in the Southeast, you know the pain. It has been north of 100 for weeks now. Every day, 100 plus. We have gotten no rain. It has just been crazy, stupid hot.
Make it focus. This is our forecast.
Yeah.
This is our forecast.
106.
106, 105,
Like
100,
it's just,
104, 103. Ooh. It's going to be, we can get out the sweaters next week.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
96.
96.
So it's just been so crazy hot, but we need to get the AC going anyway. We want to get that done. So, and all we really have to do is lines made. All the components are here. We just got to go get, yeah, we just got to go get lines made. So, and we have all of our fittings, and we have the old factory lines. We have all that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping I can just take all of this to the shop that's not too far from here and be like, I need all of this, just a little bit longer with, you know, this or that on whatever. So hopefully it ain't gonna be too big of a job. But other than that, man, it's just tooling right along. And the only reason I hadn't put all this back together is because the grill's got to come off to do all the AC lines and the dryer and all that kind of junk. The condenser's already in there. But so I'll get all that put back on, the bumper put back on, and the winch, all that kind of stuff will go back on. And but we are golden. So anyway, thank y'all for watching again. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. For the last almost year, it has been just constant shop stuff, but it will be camping stuff coming, guys. It is camping stuff on the way. We're going to get back out in termite. We have, if you remember, long while back, we have a trailer. We've had a camp trailer, or a trailer, we're going to make a camp trailer. And so that's the next thing. We're going to get the camp trailer built. I was going to build bumpers for termite, but I think we're just going to hold off. We're going to get the trailer built. So that's going to be coming up real quick. So really probably here in the next few weeks, we're going to get started on that. So anyway, thank y'all for watching. See you next week.